They say the past is written in dust and starlight, but for Emily, it became a wound that never healed. Long ago, the fairy kingdom of Elara lived in peace, protected by the Lumina tree, the heart of all magic, and blessed by legends of King Leo, who once defeated the demons of darkness. But peace never lasts forever. Emily, princess of the fairies, found love where no one dared, with Alvin, a humble hobbit whose kindness bridged the gap between their worlds. Their love defied law, angered kings, and challenged the ancient order. Then came the night of the harvest moon, the night when the prophecy of destruction returned. As the blood moon rose, the demon king Abaddon unleashed his fury, shattering the fairy realm and killing King Oberon. In a final act of love and courage, Alvin faced Abaddon, only to fall in Emily's arms, his final words whispering, "You are my magic, Emily." Now the kingdom lies in ruin. The light of the fairies fades, and Emily, broken, captured, and alone, must find the strength to rise again, before the darkness consumes what little hope remains.
The silence was a different kind of monster. It was a suffocating shroud, a stark contrast to the roars and screams that had filled the air. In the dark, I felt my body, my wings, my magic, all of it bleeding away into the cold stone. I was a prisoner not just of a cell, but of my grief. I sat with my face buried in my knees, weeping for my lost love, for my father, for a kingdom that was no more. The memories were a torture I couldn't escape. Replaying the last moment I saw Alvin's kind eyes, the courage that had shone in them, and the sickening sound that followed. Then, a sound broke the silence. A soft, rhythmic scratching from a small crack in the wall. I looked up, my eyes wide with a flicker of hope. A hobbit-sized hole was being meticulously, patiently carved into the stone. The scratching continued, a symphony of persistence against the demon's cold magic. A face, covered in dust and sweat, peered through the widening gap. It was Bob, Alvin's best friend. He was a hobbit with a kind face and a fierce spirit. He smiled, a shaky, hopeful gesture. "We have to go, Princess," he said. "We don't have much time."
I didn't ask how he found me. I didn't question his sanity.
I just followed his lead. The hole was small for me, but Bob, with an ingenuity born of desperation, used a small, sharpened stone to chip away at the edges, just enough for me to squeeze through. My wings, bruised and tattered, barely cleared the opening. We crawled through a maze of cold subterranean tunnels, the echoes of demonic patrols above us sending shivers down my spine. Bob moved with the silent certainty of a creature born of the earth. He knew these tunnels, a secret network of hobbit-made passages. He told me, as we scurried through the dark, about his own love story. His voice was a quiet comfort against the terror of our escape. "My love, Sue, and I were born and raised in the same village," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "We fell in love at a young age and got married soon after. We promised each other that we'd never be apart, not a single day, not a single minute, not even a single second. It's the same line we used to tell each other every day." He pulled a small silver locket from his pocket and held it close to his heart, and said, "She's waiting for me." We emerged from the darkness into a world that was both familiar and alien. It was a deep underground hollow, a secret village built on the roots of the ancient mountains. It was a sanctuary for the survivors, a scattering of hobbits and a few battered fairies. The air was filled with a low murmur of grief and quiet resolve. As I stepped into the light of their flickering torches, a collective gasp rose from the crowd. They looked at me, a creature of light, now bruised, broken, and wingless. Among them were two familiar faces, Alvin's parents. They rushed forward, their eyes filled with a desperate hope. His mother, her face a web of wrinkles, reached for me. "Emily," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Where is Alvin? Is he safe?" I looked at her, at the hope in their eyes, a hope that my presence had ignited, and my heart shattered all over again. The words were a bitter ash in my mouth. I could only shake my head, and a single silent tear fell from my eye. "He fought," I managed to say, my voice a broken whisper. "He fought for me. He fought for his love." My voice cracked. He fought Abaddon. He was so brave. Alvin's mother didn't cry. Her grief was a silent, profound thing that settled over her like a heavy cloak. She crumpled into her husband's arms, her body shaking with silent sobs. His father held her close, his own face a mask of unspeakable pain. We were now the remnants of two worlds, huddled together in the dark. The hobbits, who once looked up to us, now looked at us as equals in loss. The surviving fairies, a handful of my father's counselors and a few brave warriors, saw their world, their power, their very essence stripped away. The old caste system, the arrogant pride of the parliament, had been burned away by the fires of Abaddon. We were just survivors, we were just people. My grief began to transmute into a cold, hard resolve. My rage and anger changed me not only from within but also from without. My wings changed their color, and I began to transform into something else, not a princess anymore, but a warrior. I sat with the other fairies and hobbit leaders, and we began to plan. The demons had the Lumina tree, our source of power. Without it, we were nothing. We needed to get it back, not just for ourselves, but for all who had fallen. The fairies, the hobbits, the entire world of Elara. We had to fight back. Meanwhile, Abaddon was not idle. He knew I had escaped. A princess, a symbol of hope, was loose. He had sent his demonic patrols out to hunt us down, to find the remaining pockets of resistance and snuff them out like a dying flame. The war was not over. It had only just begun. We had found a sanctuary, but we knew it was temporary. A single beacon of light in a world of shadow. We had a plan, and for the first time since that terrible night, a flicker of hope ignited within me. I would fight for my lost world and for our lost love. I would fight for Alvin. Tell me your thoughts in comments. What would happen next? How can I protect my people and defeat Abaddon? Hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for the upcoming episodes.